Hi, I'm Amy and welcome back to my channel. I'm a relationship mentor and I specialise in healing attachment styles so that you can have more secure and fulfilling relationships. And in today's video, I'm going to discuss how to program your mind for a relationship. I'm going to be referring to what my personal journey has been, and hopefully you can relate to this so that you can apply all of these hints and tips into your own life so that you have the best chance to go out there and find somebody and have a wonderful relationship with them. But before I dive in, if you like this channel, please consider subscribing and liking this video so that other people have access to it. I've also got a 30-day mindset shift challenge on the short section here on YouTube. I've also got a Patreon group, which I will link in the description box below so that you can go across there and check that out if you want to. But let's jump in. So, reprogramming your mind for a relationship is probably one of the hardest things I have ever done. And the reason for this is past trauma is the number one reason. The second reason is the breakdown of a marriage. So I took all of this trauma, all of these horrible beliefs, all of these disempowering behavior patterns into a new relationship, and the same thing happened again. The relationship continually broke down. We were very high conflict. We just couldn't agree on things, and although I really wanted that person and I wanted that relationship, I couldn't quite step into the role of being in a relationship. I had a lot of resistance to that I would blame on him or blame on outside circumstances without actually looking within and seeing what was going on within me so that I could shift. So what did I do? I sat down and I thought about who I wanted to be in my relationship. And this was probably the single most important thing that I did, because what I've found on this self-development and self-improvement journey is that if there isn't a goal, if there isn't a clear objective, you're going to find it quite difficult to get there because you're not really clear on what you want. And when you're not clear on what you want, you're wishy-washy. And so what I did was I got really clear on who I wanted to be in the relationship that I wanted. I knew what I wanted the relationship to be like. I knew how I wanted to feel in the relationship. And once I got that clear, I then moved into what do I need to believe about relationships, about him, about me, about the world. What do I need to believe to become aligned to the person that's in that relationship? As the saying goes, it's simple, but it's not easy, because especially if, like us, you'd had several breaks in the relationship, it's very difficult to get back into the relationship and genuinely have a clear slate. We tend to bring past hurts and past drama into the relationship with us, which is why it's so important to go back and heal. Because without the clean slate and without releasing the resentment, however you want to do that, however you think is the healthiest way that you can get rid of the anger and the resentment towards that person, do that. I personally enjoyed scripting. I would write out my feelings, I would feel them and let them go. Another good way was when we were back together, we did start discussing issues more, which helped release the resentment towards one another. It wasn't just a one-way street. I mean, I've behaved in ways that weren't appropriate, and would I do them now? No, I wouldn't. But at the time, I did not know any better. So it's, it's also a journey on forgiving yourself for your own actions. So when you are reprogramming your mind for the relationship that you want, it's so as I say, number one, get clear on what it is that you want and who you want to be in this relationship, and then get clear on what you would need to believe about yourself to have this relationship. And the third thing you need to do is accept where you are now and accept what beliefs you have about yourself now. My personal beliefs were that because I've been divorced and because of my relationship history, I wasn't worthy of a loving, committed relationship. That was a huge block that I had to relationships. I feared abandonment. quite a bit in the relationship, and this showed, and I had a lot of dysfunctional behavior patterns that were linked to this fear. So it was so important. I knew that I needed to let this fear go, but I didn't know how. So I looked at all the beliefs that were underneath that and why someone would abandon me. Why do I perceive myself as a person that somebody would abandon? You know, and there was things that come up with that, a lot of unworthiness. I don't deserve it because I've got divorced. I'm a single parent, so I'm damaged goods. And beating myself up over what I'd done in the past. And I'd equated subconsciously that all these things meant that I was unworthy of a relationship and it was inevitable that I would be abandoned. And I acted like this. So it's so important to look at what your belief system is now, and also your beliefs on relationships. Do you believe in secure relationships? Do you believe that it's possible for you to have a secure and loving relationship? If not, why? Why isn't it possible for you? Because, you know, it's certainly shifted my perception, because if one person can have it, we can all have it. You know, there isn't anything special about a person that's got a secure relationship compared to somebody that hasn't. The only thing that's different is your mindset and what your beliefs are. So how do you believe something else when you just don't believe it? So say, for example, you don't believe that it's possible for you to have a lasting relationship that's secure, that's loving, where you feel wanted, where you feel chosen. Being chosen was another one for me, because, you know, I just didn't feel chosen at all. And how do you heal these beliefs? Well, this one was where I personally struggled, because I realized that all of these things, like not being chosen, like not feeling worthy, were caused by my inner dialogue. I didn't choose myself. I would completely abandon myself for this relationship. I would abandon what my beliefs were, abandon what my values were in order to have the relationship. So I had to really switch that around to choosing myself first, because all it did was feed into codependent patterns, which weren't ever going to make this relationship last. So when you are looking through your beliefs and how to change them, it's important to really think about how you might be doing these things to yourself. So if you have a belief that you're unlovable, you may well be talking to yourself in that way, and makes you feel particularly unlovable. Like I would, you know, quite often when I was observing what my thoughts were, I would quite often tell myself that I was stupid, that I was unlovable, that I was an awful person, and that he deserved better. I don't deserve what I want. So just watch your inner dialogue and what you're thinking, because you are lovable and you are already worthy. You are already deserving. You were born that way. It's just beliefs and trauma that have happened on the way through life that have made you think otherwise. You didn't raise your hand and ask for these beliefs. They were thrust upon you by other people, by the world, by other programming that you might have picked up along the way. So they weren't even true in the first place. So those would be my tips on how to reprogram your mind for love. So I hope you found these tips helpful. If you did, please like this video so other people have access to it. And if you like this channel, please consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next video.